Hello and welcome to Epic Tutorials. My name is Elliot Fitzroy, and in this video I wanted to answer the most frequently asked question I get at Epic Tutorials, which is how do you record the screen of your iPhone and iPad with touches no less? Well, I'm going to give you 3.5 ways to do this, and the 0.5 is not because I'm going to run out of film, it's because that 0.5 option is jailbreaking, and I don't consider this a viable option at all. I'll explain why, but because I'm going to give you a comprehensive overview of all your options, you might like to jump to exactly what you're looking for, so check the link into the description because we're going to look at how to film it physically with a video camera, how to record it onto a computer using screen capture software and a wired connection, how to screencast to your computer using a wireless connection, and finally we'll talk about jailbreaking. So as always, if this video helps you out, please like, subscribe, and share for more. And remember that all of the gear that I'm going to be demoing this video, I'll link in the description below because it will take too much time to go through each thing. So let's start off with filming your device's screen, because straight off the bat, iOS screen capturing should be as easy as recording your computer, whether it's Mac or Windows, but it's not, because iOS does not allow you to show touches. And this makes it very hard for people to follow along. And we've had years of being used to following the mouse on a computer. If you can imagine, if you got rid of the mouse and you were watching software tutorials, you'd just be trying to match everything up to what they're saying. And unless we get into very great detail, like click 2.5 centimeters down from the upper right on the iPhone or 4.3 centimeters on the iPad, you can see it just doesn't work. So filming it overcomes this limitation because you can touch it. But there's also a big problem with this technique, and that is, take a look at these hands, people. They're sort of, almost chimp or ape-like. They're very, very hairy, and with such a small screen, it's sort of like watching a David Attenborough doco with me. Hey, you might be one of those people who has beautiful, slim, model-like hands, in which case this is perfect for you. But for the hairy ones, for the sausage-fingered ones, not so good. But I'm going to give you some tips nonetheless. So first up, I use this Studio Proper case with a magnetic stand because I find that it really helps whether I'm filming it or using a cable to screencast it, because it snaps into place and it's nice and solid for tapping on. And you can also do it in landscape view. So I'm going to position this in front of an iPhone, which, by the way, I'm wirelessly airplaying over to my computer and I'm recording this. Yep, I am. So let's turn on this phone. And there's a couple of tips that you need to take into account if you're going to do this. The first is, on the screen that you're recording, whether it's an iPhone, an iPad, and iPod Touch, tap Settings, and then scroll down to Display and Brightness, and make sure Auto Brightness is turned off. Okay? You don't want your mum coming in halfway through a tutorial or a gameplay capture as you're rape and pillaging some small village for gems, only to have this screen dim right down because the lights have been turned on or they've been turned off and it explodes and it's overexposed. You don't want that. So turn auto brightness off, and then next, adjust your brightness level here. Now with this, you want it to be a little bit brighter than your backdrop. Also, spend some time creating a nice backdrop. Mine looks awful, you can see. A tripod, a dog bowl, etc. Bad paint job. But adjust this so that it's not so blown out that you can't see anything in the background unless that's what you want, or it's not so underexposed that all anyone's looking at is the paint job behind you. So once you've set your display brightness here and turned off auto brightness, we can focus on the video camera. Now this will apply to a DSLR or whatever camera you're using, but I'm just using Apple's default camera app right now. So the first thing you want to do is select the app that you are creating a tutorial for. Let's say it's Calendar. What you want to do is you want to tap and hold, and you want to lock the focus and exposure. A lot of people don't do this when they're recording their screen capture, and what happens is they might put their hand in, it focuses on the hairs on my middle finger, and then you'll take it away, adjusts, goes back here. So you want to lock that, but also you'll notice if I go to the home screen Okay, it's a little bit too dark, a bit too underexposed. So what you want to do is open up the brightest screen to avoid that overexposure when you get to it in your video and it's too much. And then all apps have a focus compensation slider, okay? So even the default Apple camera app. So you can drag this bar up and down, but you can see you want to drag it as far up as possible while still maintaining clear text. And then I'm going to tap record. Okay. And we are recording this, and now I can come in and start demoing the app and see this looks better already. I probably could have brought the exposure down a teeny bit, but it's still looking okay. And again, when you're doing this, try not to, have it in like that. Come in from the sides, the top, bottom, and try not to obscure the frame too much. If you do that, it's a great way to record tutorials. You don't have to add touches, people know what you're doing. I'll stop that recording. Okay, so our second method is to use a hardwired cable. And this has the best possible image quality and frame rate accuracy of all of these methods because you're not relying on sending information over the air. So I'll walk you through four different ways you can do this. So the first way is by just getting your iOS device, I'll put this back in portrait mode, and connecting it to a Macintosh computer using the lightning cable, okay? So that's all you need to do. And then in Yosemite, Apple added a very nice feature to QuickTime Player X, which comes on all Macs, which I'm going to launch now, that lets you record your iPhone screen. And it's a really high quality recording. You just go to the File menu and you choose New Movie Recording. Okay, occasionally you'll get an error, so they could still do some work on this. But there we go. Here is my iPhone screen. What you're probably going to see when you first launch this app is your webcam. But if you click on this little disclosure triangle next to the record button, you can see camera. You can either choose your FaceTime HD camera, any USB webcams you have plugged in, or your iPhone. Next we get to the microphone. As you can see right now, it's going to record my screen with the voice over through my Apogee USB mic. You can also choose to use your built-in microphone, etc. But there's one key point of difference. You'll notice that your iPhone's under microphone. This is one of the drawbacks of QuickTime Player X. You can either record the sound coming off your iOS device or a voiceover. You can't record both of them. I'm going to give you 3 more options that lets you do this, but that's one drawback. So I'll just select the iPhone as my audio source. It will refresh. We're good to go. Lastly, before you start recording, there is a quality setting down the bottom here. I recommend maximum. That will give you beautiful 1080p if you're in landscape mode on an iPhone 6s Plus at 60 frames per second, and there is no lag. So let me demonstrate the second major problem with QuickTime Player X though. I'm recording my tutorial and it is going swimmingly. It's looking fantastic. You can see it records everything very quickly. We get a slight delay on our preview here, but as soon as I go into landscape mode, QuickTime freaks out and it cancels your recording. Note that everything up until this point has been saved, but I've had issues like with my Movie Pro tutorial. I'm 19 minutes through. It is gold. And then one menu in a horizontal app is in portrait mode. You tap it and it killed the recording. You have to go through the trouble of fixing that up in post. So QuickTime Player X is a fantastic option if you don't need to change orientations whilst recording, and if you don't need your voice and the iOS audio at the same time. Otherwise, I've got 2 more exciting options for you. And these are designated screencasting apps. Again, links in the description, and that is Screenflow for Mac, Camtasia for Mac and Windows. Now these are slightly more expensive, $100 or more, but what they allow you to do is not only will they let you capture your iOS device screen, they will also let you record audio at the same time, and Screenflow will also let you record your iPhone device's screen, your computer, a mic and a webcam all at the same time, which is insane. Now they both have their strengths and weaknesses. Screenflow is definitely a much more powerful application when it comes to editing. It's a much smoother application and it is cheaper, but it is Mac only. But where Camtasia really wins is with its animated touch gestures. Screenflow did a really bad job. They just appear and they disappear. It's just a dot. There's no state change. You can move it and do pinches, but there's nothing to indicate it's being pressed. But whereas when you look at the Camtasia touches, they are fantastic. You just put the timeline on the exact frame that you want to add the touch, drag it in, and then it backdates it a little bit so you get the press on the right part of your image, and it looks fantastic. So all those touches that you see on my videos, they were done in Camtasia manually, one by one, dragging them out, replicating everything I do on the device. It's by no means an ideal method. It probably adds 3 to 5 hours per tutorial for me that I wouldn't have to do if Apple would just let you show touches, but it is a great option. So both of these applications allow you to import video from elsewhere, so I don't really use either of them to edit that much, even though they're both capable. I'll just import maybe a clip from Premiere and then add the touches as a last step before publishing a tutorial. So links in the description. Camtasia has a free 30-day trial that you might like to check out and is available for both Mac and Windows. Lastly, I want to talk about my favorite hardwired option, and that is using this device here, the Elgato Game Capture HD60. It's about $150 on Amazon. I'll link to it in the description before, and this is an H.264 encoder. So the computer doesn't have to do the work, has an HDMI in on the back along with a USB that goes to your computer. So to use this with an iOS device, you need Apple's Lightning to HDMI connector. What's really cool about this is on the front, it has HDMI playthrough. So you can be recording your session on your laptop and at the same time play straight through to a TV or a projector, and no one will know that you're recording. It is fantastic. But this isn't what makes the device so cool. It's actually the software. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect my iPhone, I'm going to plug it in, and the Game Capture software is very clean. It takes a few seconds to detect the device, but there we have it. Okay, there's a slight delay in playback. It's not real time. You might lose a second and a half. But what makes this app so cool is, one, you get control of the game audio or the device audio. You can live stream straight to YouTube or Twitch. And of course, you get to choose your input source and adjust those settings here. I'm going to turn off the commentary. You can see that mutes what I'm saying, but of course I can turn that back on and we get the playthrough. I'm going to hit record, and what I love about this is you can record your device whilst recording. It doesn't stop it. Not only that, it records the changes in a perfect 1920 by 1080 aspect ratio. So there's nothing more to do. It just works perfectly, and you can then import this into Camtasia or Screenflow and add your touches. The next thing I love about this, check out this feature. Under the audio input, you can automatically reduce game sound. Now, game sound is deceiving. This is designed for Xbox One and PS4. This will automatically duck the levels from your iOS device. And if you click on the settings here, you can choose by what extent. I'm going to go with a 20 dB reduction. I'm going to hit capture again. And this time, every time I speak, it's automatically going to reduce the audio from the iOS device. So check this out. So this is with automatically reduced game sound on. You can hear as I speak, it does duck the soundtrack from the game behind me, and when I shut up, you're going to hear the game in all its glory. And then I can start speaking again, and it pulls the background sound down from the iOS app. This is such a fantastic feature, and it really saves a huge amount of time. So those are the hardware options for recording your iOS device. Now let's talk about some of the wireless options. So I'm going to unplug this, I'm going to quit Game Capture. And really there are two decent solutions that will allow you to use AirPlay on your computer to capture this audio. The first and my favorite is Reflector 2. It's about $15 US. I'm going to launch that here. And what this will allow you to do is if you swipe up on your iOS device's screen and select AirPlay, it will show my computer as an Airserver, and I can turn on mirroring. And what I love about this app is you can see right now is it puts the iOS device's frame around it. And not only that, if I rotate, it rotates with me and it continues recording. So one other thing that you're going to love is if you right click on the interface, you can show frame. Oh, maybe I've got an iPhone 6s Plus in gold. It will do that. And another nice feature is if you go to the very top here, you click this, you can record using your built-in mic. You can also record using your webcam. Let's enable that here. Okay. And let's hit record. And it is recording a tutorial in real time straight to my computer. As I rotate, it rotates and it resizes, and you can minimize the size or make bigger either one of these views. And this is very, very cool. So let's click stop, and it's been recording using the Apogee mic, which is fantastic. And it will generate a QuickTime video that we can use. The next option you might want to check out if for some reason you don't like Reflector, Reflector is the best by the way, is called Airserver. And again, it's $15. You just launch it on your computer. It makes an Airserver available, again on your iOS device, swipe up. And once it is viewable, you can tap Airplay, tap on the Airserver name, and mirroring is on by default. And you can see here, again, we just get a full screen display. It's not as fully featured as Reflector. You can rotate, which is nice, and it does it full screen. And if you want to record, hit record, enable the microphone, and we are recording live using this USB microphone. So let's stop that. It creates a recording for us, and the quality is very good. The benefits are frees up this lightning port. So if you wanted to plug in a microphone like this ClipMic Digital or some other sort of iOS accessory, it lets you do it. The downside is loss of video quality, especially if you try playing back an HD video. Let me find something here. I just want to show you how it can struggle with this. So let's pick this. I'm going to play this back. You can see it's jerky. You do not get this with a hardware or cabled solution, which is why I prefer it. It also allows you to put the device in airplane mode, stop any notifications, etc. So let's stop that. All right, so those are our three main options. Filming using a wide connection, my pick is the HD60, and of course Screenflow and Camtasia are still needed when using this solution because I want to be able to add touches. And finally we get to our point 5 option, and that is jailbreaking your phone. Now I did this last year because I'll say straight off the bat, what jailbreaking your device allows you to do is show the touches as well as record the screen capture onto the device itself. You do not need a computer. Now I will say that yesterday an interesting app appeared on the App Store called Video! And it allowed you to do that. On a Wi-Fi network, you are able to capture a recording straight onto the device because it simulated an AirPlay server on the iPhone. But what did Apple do? Less than 24 hours later, it was pulled. So we almost had a useful in-device recording solution, but Apple killed it off. So jailbreaking allows you to show touches, and on the jailbroken app store, which is called Cydia, I always think of chlamydia, but it's Cydia. There's an app called Display Recorder, and you can download it and it'll let you record your display. But there's a problem. It does not support an external microphone with voiceover at the same time, so you only get the iOS device itself without commentary. It's 0.5 because I couldn't recommend this because it voids your iOS device's warranty. What this means is, even though it's perfectly legal to jailbreak a device that you paid for, and a court ruled so in America, if you take it to the Apple Store because you've got issues, and issues do crop up with jailbroken software, they'll refuse to fix it and they'll say, sorry, you voided your warranty, bye-bye. So I can't recommend it on that basis alone. And also the quality of the recording using Display Recorder were average, nowhere near as good as using QuickTime, Screenflow, HD60, and probably even the wireless options are better, but you can show touches. So if you don't want to have to add them manually later, you might want to consider this, but really my advice is not to. All right, this wraps up my epic guide to iOS screen recording solutions. I hope you found one in here that will work for you. If you want tutorials on any specifics like Camtasia, Screenflow, let me know. I'm happy to do them. And remember to thumbs up if you like this video, subscribe if you want more, and share if you want to help share this knowledge with other people who you might think want to capture their iOS devices. All right, thanks a lot for watching. My name's Elliot Fitzroy, and I will be back with more epic tutorials soon.